We are on. Fantastic. On the wrong camera though. Right. Welcome to Electronic Life video 2. So hashtag 002. That is the plan. So what we've got today is we are going to revisit the Ibiza speaker. If you saw the stream that was on Electronic Wall, which was sort of an introduction and a reminder to myself what I enjoy doing. Not that I don't enjoy what I do, but what I enjoy doing as well is taking things apart. But I've ordered some parts, so we're going to do a proper fix rather than a jerry rig fix that we did. There's also the Gibson toy. Now, my grandkids like this, and they play it a lot, and I'm hoping I can get it to repeat the issue that it has. Actually, let me switch screens. Bosh. There you go. So, I'm hoping I can get it to repeat the fault that it has. I did test it a minute ago, and it appears to work, which is really annoying because obviously it's a video about fixing things. As you can hear, there is something loose, so let's see if we can solve that as well. But it basically had an electronic fart. You turned it on and nothing would happen, and then you'd hear a and then it would work. So my theory is there's a broken capacitor or something's loose on the board, and it takes a while to charge up for the, I'm assuming some sort of filtering, power filtering, so that it doesn't make any noise. It's quite an entertaining thing as well. I might even do a bit of air guitar, but it's not air guitar if it's a real guitar. So I might do some twanging and just making noise, quite frankly. But that'll be after we get back on to that thing. And as said, let's put a decent power connector on it. Hopefully find the right sort of screws, and we'll get that sorted as well. That should be a quick thing. I still haven't got the fresh wheels for it, so one of the wheels is still busted. I have looked at a variety of places for those, and I cannot find them anywhere. So it will just be an electronical fix today. It should be relatively quick. It's not going to be the longest stream in the world. We're fixing that, taking this apart. I have just uploaded last week's stream. I know I said I'd do that on the Thursday. I'm full of empty promises. So if I say I'm going to do something on Thursday, it's now Wednesday the next week. It's nearly Thursday. Anyhow, let's crack on. So put this to one side. So this time I have prepared. I'm going to be putting this on. Let me switch cameras again. Boop. Again, that was me. There's no sound change. I have this. Now you can't just solder some cables to it and then stuff it in the unit. You need to put a heat shrink on. So I've got some heat shrink. If people aren't familiar with what this is, I shall explain what it is when I use it. I have myself a lighter. That's my electronically click for the heat shrink. That goes well with that. Some solder. A beefier unit this time, because half the issues I had last time was trying to solder wires on, tin wires. I couldn't, because the tin that the solder was in was too light and it wouldn't hold itself in one place, whereas now I could like be holding a piece of wire and just go boop, boop. That's why I made such a mess of it. I've just re-watched that video. I do waffle on a lot. I mean, here we are, what, 5 minutes in, and I've still not done anything. Yeah, and a trusty screwdriver. And I have gone again with the retro screwdriver. Everyone should have a retro screwdriver in their house. It's nice and long. It's great for getting into those, you know, if you get like an old speaker system, you need to get right into the depth of the screw holes. Done. My little man today has a hairy nostril. That's what that is. You can't really tell, but it's a hairy nostril. So let me go and unplug this and bring it over. Oh, actually, first, let me show you why I'm fixing it. If you didn't catch the other video, let me show you on this screen here the video that I did on my other channel. That video is available. I'm going to turn it down just in case it's a bit loud. So that video is available on YouTube under Electronic Wall. So search that out, especially if you like VR games. I perused the local cash converters quite regularly. And there's the speaker system here. I mean, look at that, £200. But it was under a sign that said 30 quid. And the reason it's £30 is somebody has broken the back out. If it was £300, it means they've dropped it in the shop. Because there's no way they would have given someone enough money to call this 300 quid. So I made a bit of preparation. I have got myself a power lead. Ta-da. Boop. There you go. So that is that. So a bit of video within video, videoception. Now when I show this video again and it shows that video, whoa, mind blowing. Right. Anywho, let's take this off. As you can see, look, it leans. Can I show you more? Sorry, I'm going to just move you about a bit. There you go. Yeah, so it rocks because one of the wheels is completely shot. I should really take the other wheel off. That would make life a lot easier when I'm moving it around. But alas, I have not. Oh, thank you. She who must not be named has just responded that she doesn't know that. She who must not be named often does that. Now I am well, not painfully, I am aware no one else is watching this, so I am just talking to the screen. The great thing with that is when I edit this for a video, I don't really need to do much, because I'm not cutting out parts where I talk to people in chat. Even my own wife's not watching it. She did say she might be a bit busy today, but come off it. You should just watch it really, shouldn't you? Okay, now the great thing with this is it pops out and there's one cable. Oop. And now I can work on that without having to move this everywhere. Rightio. So as you see, we bodged it slightly. Let's switch back cameras. We bodged it slightly in the fact that I didn't have one of those connectors, so I just used one of the things you get for UPSs and cable tied it, hoping that wouldn't pull out. But as you can clearly see, the first time I unplugged the thing, it just popped off. It was never going to be a long-term fix. One thing I did use in the video that you saw in that video was I used Wago clips, and these are great because done. I just disconnect it. There's no soldering, there's no messing around. It's a nice mechanical contact, so there's no risk of dry joints, etc. It's just as easy as that. And then we can put that through, just pull it out. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So let me just move these out of the way slightly. What I actually need to do is, here's me saying I'm prepared, I haven't got the soldering iron out yet. Get the soldering iron out. As mentioned, portable battery one, very handy. Clear the desk slightly, because I'm going to get the Perspex sheet that covers things. Ta-da! All ready with nice bubbly heat bits, where I was doing something the other day and managed to melt it. But I'm not bothered about that. The whole point is it's sacrificial. It'll go in the bin. It'll never get burnt enough that it's an issue. But that's that. So what I'm going to do is chop these cables off here, solder them onto this, clip them back on the other one. Like I say, it's not going to be the most complex fix today. It's going to be a relatively quiet one. Not too long. The last one was, what, 70, 80 minutes long. This won't be that. No, I don't have my wire strippers with me today. I forgot them. So I'm just going to use this. Give it a good wiggle and pull. The ends are off. There's one. Obviously I'm being careful not to cut all the way through. So I only want to score around the plastic and do that. I might strip a bit more off them actually, because what I'm going to be doing is putting them through the holes of the feet of that, bending them over and soldering them. There. So, as so. Like that. And then giving them a bend. And one little twist. And then that's what I'm going to solder. And that'll give me a nice, good connection to there. One thing I don't want to do is, admittedly I've got the other end open so it's not the end of the world, is I don't want to forget to put on some heat shrink. So you find the heat shrink that's roughly the right size. You don't want it too much bigger than the wire that you're working with. And make sure that it's going to go over all the parts involved, as so. So only 3 bits of that. There. And again, if you're not familiar with heat shrink, I will be showing you in a second what it does. It's great stuff. Again, I was quite old before I knew what it was. It was never in my fixing kit, but I don't know why. Oh, sorry, just off camera now. So yeah, just poke it through the hole, give it a twist. That's all it needs, just to hold it in place, ready for me to solder it. I did these far too short, so I'm just stripping off a bit more. Yes, I am using my teeth. No, you should not use your teeth. But if you did, it was at your own risk and not because you watched a video of me doing it. Okay, so, as said, these ends are open, so I don't need to worry about putting the heat shrink on. But if these were connected to anything, I would need to put this stuff on now, before I've screwed it on there, because you can't put them on afterwards. So let's solder these. Let's tin the end of the soldering iron, just get the solder flowing. You don't want it to just sit on top like that, you want it to actually start soaking in. And as it gets hotter, you should wick it into the copper. I'm holding the piece down with one finger and then feeding the solder with the other. So it's sitting on a blob. That's not ideal. Probably wound it too tight. Can you see that's wicking in a bit? Hoping you can see that on the camera. Lots and lots of solder smoke. I'm making pigs out of this as well. If you get too long, you're going to melt the. See how the plastic's moving. I'm just going to cool it down. But I mean that's a joint. That's definitely too hot. I'll untangle the other two. Okay, so let me just untangle those. Don't necessarily want them wound together, because then there's nothing for the solder to wick into. So next one. See, it's just going a lot easier. Because it isn't as tight. Yep. So again, just unwinding. Them together. So part of the reason I draw the smiley faces on the piece of paper is so I know where the camera's pointing, and then I completely forget to check and keep an eye on it. I mean, ideally, these would be better crimped. I'll just get my hand in there for a second while I put a bit more on there. Yeah, if you crimp them, you end up with a mechanical connection between the two. So I'm going to flick them over and put a bit on the bottom as well. What about you lot? It's only Wednesday, but it feels like a Friday already. Alright. So, give them a good wiggle. I mean, they're well and truly around there now. It's not the neatest job in the world, but that won't be coming off anytime soon. So, I'm going to pop a bit of heat shrink on. Like that, and then pull it over the top of all these. Give it a good push down so there's none of the connector visible. Ready for the magic of heat shrink. Add a bit of heat shrink inside it. That last piece. Okay, so with heat shrink, again, a lot of you will know this, but some won't. A bit of heat applied will shrink it, hence the name. I'll show you with the end of here. As you can see, it shrinks around the cable. Heat guns are a better source of heat than a flame. thing with the flame is you have to be relatively quick, otherwise, well, it's a flame and it melts things. But as you can see there, it's nice and tight on the cable, and it's also nice and tight around the end of there. So, ooh, could do a bit more on there. Hope this isn't too flickery on the camera. Right, bring bang bush. What I need to do is also now, let's switch back to the big cam, is I have this. I need a higher camera. I need one that's like twice as high as this. Alright, so we know that that's got to go through there before we do anything. And if you ever do... Oh, actually, I should have checked it fits first, shouldn't I? It's that slightly bit too big. The plug itself. I might have just scuppered this because I don't have any files here to make the hole in this bigger. But as you can see, it's supposed to slot in there. And they've obviously made the hole exactly right for the one before. Let me just check it's not any of that stuff there. Because they look like they silicone sealed it down or something. So let's... There's not enough there to cause that much of an issue. I mean, this is the thing about doing these live. If I was just doing it as a video, I would have found this out, gone to the shed, got a file, filed it, put it together. But yeah, it's just, I mean, we're not talking much here. I am going to see if I've got a file. Hold on, folks. Let me just leave you with some music while I go and find that. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I can't find what I was looking for. I was looking for a small file. I did find the soldering iron that I used last week. Did I use it last week? No, I used it this week for doing something. But I could have used this for the heat shrink, because these gas powered ones, you can take the tips off. And if you take the tips off, they become mini heat guns. So we see without burning the camera. There we go. Switch to the other one so you can see that. You can see the heat. So it becomes a heat gun, which is quite handy for a heat shrink and other heat-based activities, like small toast. Right, anyhow, I've just made that hot for absolutely no reason, which means I'm going to struggle to put it down anywhere safe. Going to quickly screw the tip on and hope that don't get too hot. Thankfully, it's got thermoset plastic on, which means you can put the lid on. It's not going to burn anything. And the idea is you can chuck it in your bag. Right, yeah, so I am missing, well, I'm not missing, I didn't have one here, a file. I wonder if the one on the Swiss Army knife would be good enough. So, most Swiss Army knives come with a small file on. Let's have a look. Oh, maybe. Switch, just so you can watch my glorious face while I do this. It's taking some material away. Ideally, a small needle nose, a small file, handheld file would be a better solution than this. but I don't have one of those. So it is me earlier saying nip into the shed. I'm actually at work, as I believe I've said many times, which means I don't have access to my shed. My shed full of crap. I'll have to do a tour one day, but even I can't find it, let alone anything in it. Right, I need more than that. I need a crappy knife. One I don't mind using the edge off. I do have one. Give me 2 seconds. I should be back again. What time are we on anyway? It's 4 o'clock. I've got enough time for coffee. So just while we're in a short interval. Milk. That. Today's coffee is a Starbucks espresso roast. I chose this coffee not because it's a low in intensity, but because it was cheap in the supermarket. That's why I like these pod machines. There are some issues with environmental issues and aluminium, but you can actually clean them out, use the coffee on your garden and recycle them, which is good, which I have been known to do. I'm not exactly great at doing it, so sometimes I'll just empty it in the bin. But sometimes it's better than never. Right, so I've got a rubbish knife. It's not even mine, so I don't care if I blunt it. So I'm just gonna... Ooh, I bet that's annoying. You know what, I'm not going to remove you from chat. If anyone's watching chat, which you won't be when you watch this as a new video, one of the people that exist out there that think I have a big beef with everyone, that think that everything I do is personal and aimed at them, it's not. So you can sit in the chat, I'm not going to ban you out of it. Obviously, I'm sure someone will send me screenshots of discharge floor later when you update it with pictures of me being sus, but until then I don't really mind. Probably the only person in here anyway. It is a new channel. I stream at the worst possible time for the UK and, to be honest, the rest of the world. Most people are in bed right now, or waking up in the States. And in the UK, most of the people that probably watch me are at work or at school. So I'm really only streaming because I like talking to myself. You're asking about Lemon's dad. He's not sharing any information on that. And yes, he's back. That was ages ago. He's back and there's loads more developers on the game now. Right, will this push in? Am I going to regret forcing it? It won't push in. But it's getting close. So before it wouldn't fit at all. But now it nearly fits. So let's do a bit more work on it. Again, I'm trying not to make it do the squeak thing. I can see bits of metal coming off. So that's a start. Finished. So, there's my Nespresso. With wheels. With a Starbucks coffee. Some powdered milk because I'm lazy and I don't want to... Whoa! Autofocus. Let me turn that off. Thought I disabled that. Powdered milk, because the last thing I want to do is get a fridge, fill it with milk I'm not going to drink, and I'm having to take it down to the kitchenette that's here, washing the jug out, pouring what's left down the drain. I don't want to do that. Wow, they're all here today. But yeah, so powdered milk and a sweetener. I'm not so much chatting for the chat, because you guys can hear what I'm saying anyway, but also I'm chatting for the future video that this will be. Not a lot of people know, but I am actually a type 1 diabetic. I wasn't a type 1 diabetic, then I got the flu one Christmas, 2009, and it actually made me diabetic, which is an absolute pain in the arse. So it's got a sweetener in it. I got used to sweeteners in the long run, but I do like a sugar in my coffee. In fact, I went to sort someone out today with their Office 365 tenant. That's what it's called when you've got an account with Office. And they didn't have any sweeteners. They had a coffee in it. And I remember thinking, ah, that's nice. I also accidentally, not today, but bought some Coke. And I thought, eh, nice, I'm drinking it, I think this is nice. Then I got the mother of all headaches, and I realised it was full fat. I don't know if you know this, but there's absolutely tons of sugar in a diet, not in a Diet Coke, in a Coke. Ooh, it's getting there. If I was to force it, it might go halfway. So what I need that really, I'm sure it's going to be taken the wrong way, but I need that to be a sloppy effect. Otherwise, I'm going to mess myself up a couple of seconds later. So for the sake of scraping a knife a few more times in here, I may as well just do that. And again, if I was at home, I've got some nice little files, would have made short work of this. Very short work. I've not cut myself yet. It won't be far off. Yeah, it won't be far off before I chop a finger off on stream or something. And when that happens, I shall use like a filter on the video, make it green so that YouTube doesn't demonetize it, and I'll leave it up. I know people get entertained by that sort of stuff. In fact, if you go on my other channel, you can find where I electrocuted myself. I didn't build the speaker. Now, someone's asking in chat, I'm surprised I built it. I didn't build it. I bought it, it was broken. You can just build a speaker. It's not actually beyond the realms of reason. You can build amplifier circuits, you can get the speakers and things like that. It's not as hard as it sounds. You can buy kits as well, so you can put them together. Hey, there's more people actually. There's 3 people in the chat now. But again, worst time in the world to stream. People are coming out of work, coming out of school. People are waking up. They're eating their breakfast. That's what we are, 4:30. I know when I'm in meetings with the other devs for my main job, the earliest we tend to talk is about 5:30. So it gives them time to get up, have a cup of coffee, do whatever they do in the morning. Like all of us. They're human. The 3 S's. Poop, shower and shave. Although, look at this. I ain't shaven. I need to have a shave. I need to shave my face. I need to shave my head. Look at this fuzz. I look older when I've got fuzz. It does make me look nearly as old as I am. And anyway, back to building and fixing things. A lot of people are programmers out there. And a lot of the sort of people that are interested in this, or I come across in other games, in my other role in life, are actually programmers. And programming and fixing things. I'm sorry, is that really annoying, that noise? Yeah, programming things and fixing things is the same sort of stuff. It's like physical programming, physical bug fixing. So when you've got a bug in a program, you might put an echo command in there to figure out why it's going wrong, where it's going wrong, or you might change a variable and see what happens. Well, the same with these things. Same with anything. Just take it apart, decode it. That's how you figure out how the world works. The same desire to learn how to program is the same skill set as it is to learn how to fix things. I can't show the black flipper, I'm afraid. I've got it at home at the moment. But I do have the box. Look at that. You can't actually do much with the flipper. It's an overpriced toy. Nearly every video you see online is people using infrared and like turning TVs on. Well, my mobile phone can do that. I've got the P30 Pro. One of these is an infrared, that one I think. So I can turn TVs on, I can turn stuff off. In supermarkets when there's annoying infomercials are playing, I'm using an American term there. Walking around Tesco's, they had a thing where they had like TVs in all the aisles and they were all just playing the same annoying advert. And I must admit, we had great fun running around with our phones, turning them off. Me and my lad. It was back when I had the palm top. That shows you how old that is. Right, I've got to the point where vertically it's going to go in. So no matter where I put that, it's nice and thin, loose. But top and bottom there, just need a little bit more off this bit and that bit. So sorry about the squeakiness. Again, the squeakiness. Break what? What am I going to break, Anthony? Again, Anthony's in chat. Hello, Anthony. I think he's waiting for me to break the speakers that are fixed. But even if I did, don't matter, does it? At the end of the day, 30 quid. I've had 2 afternoons of fun out of it, fixing things. I might even make... No, I've not made any money on it because this YouTube isn't monetized. I can't show the Flipper Zero because it's an empty box. The Flipper Zero is at home. I'm actually one of the original OG backers for it. So if you go back to when Kickstarter was first done, Anthony that's in chat now and me, we backed it back in 2018, I think it was. And we only got it the other month, about 4 weeks ago. So yes, we actually paid for the development of it. Believe it or not, although everyone thinks I'm Mr. Goody Two Shoes, I am actually. I'm a decent good person. But I am aware of the naughty side of hacking and system manipulation, because that's what I did for a while, especially with RFID, which is why we bought the flipper. Did some work on Saturday actually. There's a live stream, just me walking around, but I let myself into the building with the flipper. Admittedly, I've got permission to be in that building, and I had the fob on the device. I'd saved it previously, so I didn't have to carry it around. Because otherwise, you end up doing this. You end up sticking. You end up sticking in RFID stickers inside your phone cases and stuff, just so you don't have to carry your keys all the time. Or in my case, the ring. This black ring. It's not only my wedding ring. I didn't get married with this one, I got married with one I made myself. But it's an RFID, it's a writable RFID, and the flipper can write different ones to it. Right, still need to take a good ½ mil off this. It's going to take a while, sorry guys. We'll just call this talkie time. I'm going to just move away over here, a bit further away from the mic. Fat stacks. You on about me? Oh no, it's only 30 quid in there. I normally carry more than that, let's be honest. But it is the end of the month. We had Black Friday. Spent a fortune on Black Friday. Pretty much picked up loads of Christmas presents for people. It's a good time to do that if you manage to get some spare cash at those moments. Oh, Anthony, it's your knife. Sorry, mate. Alright, I'm going to try the smaller file on here now. Noisy, 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 noisy. And I'm actually going to be a bit richer this year. Not because I've got more money, but because money that I spent, I'm going to get back. The Quest Pro is currently sat in a warehouse being processed for my refund. I had to chase Meta yet again today. I found Meta to be disappointing. They've let me down. I spent a lot of money on their products over the years. I will be avoiding spending any money on them as much as possible now. The next headset I buy will probably be the next gen PC stuff that's coming out. But the Quest Pro, unless they send me one for free, you won't be seeing me wearing it. Now I might eat my words one day and be caught wearing one. I don't know. Still want one. But the whole experience of buying from Meta has been shocking. I told them today in an email, and my exact quote was, I've gone from here, take my money, to where's my money? And the last email I shall send them is, I think this is the end of our relationship. It's not me, it's you. It's just hard work without the right tools. But again, adapt and improvise. I think I said that the other day in a stream. You should watch all my streams, so when I reference them, you know what I'm talking about. But growing up without the right tools, because, well, my dad was a mechanic, so we had all the garagey type tools, you know, for taking cars and bikes apart. By mechanic, he was actually an electrical engineer. But in his spare time, he fixed motorbikes and he raced them. So I'll see if I can find some photos one day. But I'll do like a little collage of what he did. Yeah, so there was always tools around, but they weren't mine. And it was, obviously, if you've got a set of tools, you're particular about them. They don't just let your 8-year-old kid run around with your favourite pliers, because I'm going to try and pull a nail out of a tree. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I still do it now with my favourite pair of pliers. So he actually bought me a woodworking set once, and I had it for about 2 days, and then I badly cut my hand with it, so he took it off me. Then the next year he bought me one again, and I had it about 2 days, and I badly cut my hand, so he took it off me. Never bought me one of them again. He did buy me a really cool set of screwdrivers, spanners, a soldering iron, magnifying glass. I borrowed it from work, because back in the 80s, 90s, anyone who worked in a factory, it was considered they were your stuff. It's one of the perks of working for an organisation that didn't pay you very much money. So yeah, 5-finger discount. I realised why I had a strange collection of tools. It was whatever they had on the shop floor that day. But yeah, I never quite had the right tools. So the times I did things the wrong way, like look at this, I'm filing with a knife at the moment. Let's be honest, it's a rubbish knife. It doesn't even stay shut. Yeah, I did wonder why you didn't buy yourself a drone, Anthony. For future video people, the people are talking about what they didn't buy in Black Friday. And Anthony, who did the picture there of the towers, I think they've been demolished now. Rushcliffe Power Station. He did that in his drone. He's got 2 drones. One sat at my house because he lent it to me to do my roof, take a photo of my roof. Back in 2019, I didn't fly it. I charged it. All the batteries charged. I know where it is. It's nice and safe. But I still didn't get all there and take a photo of the roof. The neighbour even wants me to do a photo of his roof. But now you need licences and all sorts for certain ones. That's still active. Okay, so Ratcliffe Power Station isn't demolished as I thought it was. Oh, this is going to take forever. What was going to be a quick video, because I was going to do this and then take apart that Gibson toy, it's taking longer than it should. Again, perfect that way. What am I on now? I need... Oh, it's so close. Actually, I don't think it is close. At this point, it might not actually be the parts I'm doing, it might be the curves. Oh, no! Hey! It fits. So, I just need to find some machine screws to go in there. I have a magic box of screws and screwdriver. That looks like one. Now, here's a hint in life. You can, some people like to make jars full of screws. Just accept that you're never going to put stuff in jars. Just get a drawer, fill them up. That's what I did. It's not even my drawer. That's on Anthony's desk. People in the Discord say it must be really cool working with electronic, but the reality is I fill your drawers with screws, so working with me is not always a dream. I did call it Anthony's desk because you got really upset when I called it the hot desk last time. Okay, so we are now finally at the point where this thing is back to factory. So as you can see, I just popped a couple of screws in there. They poke through the back. And these are floating around, but I'll just reconnect these. Let me move to the other screen. See, my goal again with this channel is, one, I know it's not exciting. It's calm, it's peaceful, there's no drama. It's not about shouting at people who are cheating in games and things like that. It is just about sitting, chilling, and doing things. Now, when I were a lad, if I remember rightly, that's not way around. When I were a lad, and I'm talking like late 20s, all I did to entertain myself was take things apart. I'd buy crap at a charity shop, and I'd take it apart, and I'd sort it into boxes. So I had boxes of speakers, I had boxes of wires, and even if I took boards apart, capacitors, resistors, anything. And I never did anything with them until someone would randomly ask, have you got a such and such? I know it's a long shot. And the answer was usually yes. So I pretty much bought all this stuff to fix everyone else's stuff. But it made me happy. So, long story short, I had a friend who went to college. He was doing musical engineering. And they gave him a list of things that he had to have for the course. And about 6 months earlier, we'd been walking the dogs through the old school that I went to. And you could take dogs there, and as long as you picked up your poo, they didn't mind people walking on the field. So we used to go and play golf. Take a golf ball, throw it, par 3, sandpit, keep the dogs happy as well. But there was a skip there one day full of all the kit from the music engineering labs. So I took as much as I could take home and dismantled it. So for about a year and a half, and I said about 6 months, but it was about a year and a half, they were sat in boxes, connectors, 5-pin DINs, all these sorts of stuff. Anyway, mate goes to Newcastle College doing musical engineering, and they give him a list of the cables that he needs. And there's easily a couple £100 worth of cables. And this was back, 1992. No, 93, because it was just before. Yeah, anyway, before I moved here, so it gave me a time. And I was able to build the kit. I'm not happy with that. Build him all the cables he needed. And the great thing was, I built them to spec from I used to have a file of all the pinouts and things on the Amiga, and I built them to spec. And I made sure that they were exactly to spec as well, because I didn't want them to go in there, plugging in the equipment there and blowing it up. And everyone was super jealous. They chuck hundreds of pounds at these cables, and he turned up with stuff out of a skip, remade by his mate, sat in his bedroom with a soldering iron. And it felt good. It did feel good. So yeah, don't be afraid to keep stuff. But yeah, if you've got the space, don't throw anything away, take it apart. Have some fun, figure out how it's made. I believe at this point in my life now, I can look at anything and know roughly what's inside it. How it's configured, where things would be, where things should be. And then when I take them apart, sometimes I'm surprised. And if I'm surprised, I've learned something new. Right, yeah, that certainly looks a lot better than a bit of cable hanging out the back, which is what it was. It was that. Just poked out the back. Joked about taking this to cash converters and selling it back to them. With something professionally put on like that, well, professionally appearing, you could. Yeah, I am going to take those wheels off. One, it means I might actually find them, but this one that's bust is just not working. So if I take them off, and the other feet, it can sit on the floor. We've got a concrete floor here, so it's not going to vibrate through to the rooms below me, because below me is a nursery. It's not going to annoy the girls next door, because next door is a different office. Obviously that side is just my junk room, so I'm not going to offend the junk. So that's what I need to buy. I need another one of these. Now I've looked for luggage wheels, I've looked for cabinet wheels, I've looked for all sorts like that. I've not been able to find one of these yet. Without those, I need to take the front feet off. I might run out of time. It's going to be mostly a talky one, I think, this one. I think I might have to delay the Gibson toy till next week. Maybe do another doubler, because I don't think there's going to be much. It's either just something floating about loose that I resoldered down, or it's something I'm going to need to buy parts for. And again, I think I paid like £3 from a charity shop for it. But I'm going to fix it. And I'm going to fix it because my grandkids do like playing with it. Right, there. So we are at this stage. Way up. Whee. Plug it in. Plugs in. Unplugs. Nice. Okay, so that's that done. What are we on? 4:30. Gonna make a choice now. One, throw the knife around. Don't do that. Put that away. I'll sharpen that again for you, Anthony. Don't worry about that. Reshape the blade, sharpen it. It needs some love and care anyway. I don't think you've ever looked after it. Have you just found them already? Right, I've just had a link sent in text. Is it the same ones? Wow, blow me, as they say. £17 each. I'm not spending 17 quid each for one of these, but that looks like a more professional. Let me pull that down here. Show you. So, Anthony Chat's just sent me this. So that is the wheel that we're looking at. Well, it's an equivalent. It would work just as well. It says 2-inch. I'm pretty sure. I'll measure this across there. It's actually, no, that's too small. This is actually 3-inch there, 1-inch across there. So that's the profile inside the hole. 1-inch, or 1.5 by 1. But yeah, 17 quid is far too expensive. Let's put these. Right, I've got a handful of screws. Now I need to keep these safe, so I'm going to put my screws on. Drawer of screws. I mean, I wish I could show you. It's full of screws. I wasn't exaggerating. Yeah, look at that. And a spare one. So back to this. Yeah, I'm going to put this back together off camera and determine, basically take it home, let the kids play with it. If it carries on working, it won't come back. I mean, from what I can tell, it's licensed. Look at that. It's got the Gibson logo on it, everything. The Gibson Power Tool, made by Tiger. Yeah, so I'll rebuild it. I'll let the grandkids play. And see what happens. If it breaks, I'll bring it back in and I'll take it apart. But I'll find a better video. Better video. Find something new to take apart. Like I say, every week I go to the charity shops and have a good old walk round. It's part of my weekly regime to go. In fact, I've got to go to the charity shop. That's too late. It's 5 o'clock. I've just bought all, you know, the Gantz Zero anime series. Well, there's a manga series as well, like the 36 comics, graphic novels. I just bought that from a charity shop. £185. But I actually enjoyed the TV. Yeah, anyway, I digress. I'm going to see what I find this week. I might even have a word with some of the guys that work in cash converters because I know them. They're friends of my son, and things like that. And even some of the charity shops know me by name, by face, because I've been shopping in them. Or, not a lot of people know this, but I ran one for a year. It was an interesting year. It's an experience. If you're not working, go and give some time to a charity shop. You'll find it very, very interesting. I met some crazy people. Crazy people. There was Violet from London who was like 98. She wasn't 98, she was like 89. But what a hoot. She knew the craze. Everyone knows the craze in London. You can't meet people like that just walking around the street. Go and work in charity shops. Give it a go. It got my lad into college, and it got one of my lads into work as well. He didn't have the grades for college, but he'd spent 3 hours on a Saturday, was the agreement, every Saturday for about a year, going to work in a charity shop before his mates woke up. Reality is, the first day he turned up, he did the whole day, and he never did not do a whole day, and he ended up going in during holidays and things like that. And I'm getting stuck. Basically, I'm going to walk around, see what else I find, have a chat with the charity shops, have a chat with cash converters, see if they can put aside the stuff that's broken for me. Things like that. They're not going to sell it. It's going to sit in their e-waste bin. I've done well out of cash converters over the years when I used to know the previous manager. Xbox controllers for £1. And I'll take apart and it's a couple of wires loose. Or Bluetooth speakers for £1. I just go and buy some batteries, put them in and they work. That sort of thing happens a lot when you buy broken stuff. Sold a seam. Accept it's probably going to go in a bin. If it does go in a bin, but you've lost what you spent on it. But if it doesn't, you've just gained everything. Right, anyway, I have a meeting in half an hour with a bunch of Americans. So I am going to put this to one side, over here, on Anthony's desk. Yeah, just for you, Anthony. And I shall see you guys next week for a Chunter and Fix. I didn't even drink my coffee, so I'm going to drink some of that now. Oh, a proper slurp. Yeah, anyway, I hope to see you all here. I hope to see more of you next week as well. This will be edited into a short video. By short, the last one was 1 hour 18, which is now on my channel. I'm not expecting this to blow up, and I don't really care. This, as I said last week, this channel is about just being chill, just making stuff, fixing stuff, breaking stuff, just relaxing times. Shouldn't say too much. People notice, and now I've said that, you can notice even more. Yeah, so it's just about spending time together, chatting. I've had a little chat with the chap over here. I'm going to cut that out of the videos when they go on and try to keep that to a minimum without pausing the live by cutting that out for the videos. But yeah, I like engaging with the people that join, even you lot. I'm looking over there because that's where the chat is. I've got the 4 monitors set up, remember.